So, welcome to my next lockdown book flip through, and I have here today a really large book. As you can see, it doesn't even really fit into my phone's frame super well. This is The Costume History, or in its original title, in my terrible French, Les Costumes Historiques. It was published originally in I think it says in here, 1869. It was originally a French publication and represented at the time a very complete volume of costumes and clothing around the world. The original text is very long, and Taschen has put out this huge and very beautiful edition with a much abridged text, and of course that is much nicer for the modern audience to read. This is a really beautiful book. I picked it up, I think, right after it came out. As you can see, it's really big. But it's really beautiful, and as you can see, the quality of the printing inside it is really good. And it is exactly what it says it is. So the ancient world, the 19th century, Europe, and traditional costume of the late 19th century. And there is an introduction. All the text in this book is presented in English, German, and French, which is really nice, so you don't have to worry about which edition you get. This is the companion book that was put out, which I will actually talk about tomorrow. I have a little copy of it as well. You can get this book in a smaller size. Taschen has put out an edition that is the size of this one here, one of their little editions. This is The World of Ornaments, so sort of the companion book. I have the big edition, and I really like it. For me, the big edition is worthwhile to have because I use it so much as reference material. If we flip through here, we won't go through the whole book just because it's really big and really thick. You can see how many pages are in this thing. What is it? At the very end, what does it say? It is 415 pages, so it's a very large book, but I really like it. And if you are like me, into costume design just for the sake of it, if you're into character design, if you're needing references for material that you're working on, this is, I think, one of the best books you could possibly get. It is really inclusive. The original text, of course, is very, sort of very typical of the time when white people from Europe were writing about people from other cultures. But the author is known to be a little bit open-minded and sometimes a little bit sarcastic towards colonialism. You can see at the bottom of each page, there's a little text here, again, in English, German, and French. So there's a little bit of information on each page. There's a lot of different sources. You can see there's also sources for armor, sources for weapons. This is honestly, I think, one of the best sources you could get. If you are interested in historical costume for any reason, if you are interested in character design, and you want to go past just sort of the European look or sort of Victorian, this is an excellent book. Of course, it does have lots of material from Europe, but it also has material from beyond Europe, and that's really great. Lots of armor references, lots of military, just so much material. And this book, I honestly, and you can see here, I'll just take a pause in my sentence, that there's also lots of interiors that they've reproduced. So for me, I use this book very regularly. I would say probably at least once a month. I pull this book out when I'm going through a character design phase or I need some inspiration. I'm definitely turning to this book. It's one of my favorites. I bought it in 2010, right after I came to Germany. It was actually one of the first books that I bought here, and I've been using it ever since. I consider it a really excellent resource. Very high quality prints. It's nice to have the large size. Like I said, you can get a smaller one, but the nice thing about the big one is that you can see the detail. And I think when you're working with references and you want it not just sort of as a little thing on your shelf that you look at once in a while, but as a continuous reference source for a studio, it's really good. And I would definitely recommend it to anybody looking for a big, beautiful coffee table book that actually is a really excellent reference source. So that's my look through today. Have a good day.